Jeppe Kofod, you were the man behind an exhibition about how piglets are treated. Do we get a happier, more happy piglet if it is keeping its tail?
Yes, we do, but not only keeping the tail, but actually ensuring that the conditions that they live in are good conditions. They would have material, enrichment material that they can play with, and that they will have a kind of a more good life when they are on the farm, and not starting to bite each other's tail, because biting each other's tail is a symptom of stress and also that they are not in a good mood, that they are stressful and they're not happy, and therefore if they keep the tail and do not bite each other, then they are much better off.
But why isn't the pig industry realizing this and by that creating more happy pigs, which could end up by giving more tasteful meat?
Well, it's also a mystery for me. Of course, you can say that it will have some cost for them if they ensure the right conditions for the piglets. But I think first of all, there's a moral, ethical question here. I mean, we need to treat our animals in a proper way and not mistreating them like we do today, tail cutting and also castration without prevention, without any what do you call?
Sorry. Anesthesia.
Yeah, anesthesia. Yeah. Exactly. Sorry. Take it. Can we take it again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why isn't the pig industry realizing that they not only get more happy animals, but also better meat?
Well, it's also a mystery for me, because first of all, I think we should treat our animals with respect, with dignity. We have some ethical, moral obligations in Europe. It's part of our treaty that animals are living, sensing people, like sensing individuals that should be respected. Their life should be respected, and so for ethical, moral reasons, we should treat them much better. But also, of course, if we produce in a way where we do not expose them to a stressful environment, or that will lead to tail biting or fighting each other all the time, it's not a good life for a piglet, for a pig, and therefore we should change this behavior. And I asked the farmers to do that, and also just basically to fulfill.
And they said what?
Well, I mean, they have a lot of issues. They say it's more costly, and maybe it's more costly, but I think we should at least have this fundamental animal welfare secured in our farms in Europe. It's the way we are. We are a civilization that also respects animal welfare. So that's why I brought this exhibition to Strasbourg. That's also why I want to focus on that the farmers should actually also fulfill the law. I mean, there's a law against systematic, routine tail biting, cutting, and I think we should actually do something about this.
You managed to set up an exhibition here at the European Parliament in Strasbourg.
Yeah.
Was there any outcome where you could say that was a good idea to have that exhibition?
Yes, because the exhibition, first of all, showed some of the conditions at our farms, some very also terrible pictures, but it also showed a positive story, like how we can bring up piglets and also pigs in a more responsible way, where they do not have their tails cut, but also where they have the right conditions in the farm, so they would have a better life. And I think showing the reality in most farms, but also showing the alternative, was for me very important.
There was a conference in Copenhagen a few years ago indicating the will from at that time, ministers for agriculture from Sweden, Denmark, Netherlands and Germany to do something about this. Did anything happen?
Well, not enough. I think what is the problem here is that it was a voluntary also agreement, for example, to phase out surgical castration of piglets without anesthesia, but it hasn't happened. I mean, and also the same with tails. I mean, it's the same thing. It's prohibited, but the farms still do it, and the farmers still do this. So I think we need much tougher regulation to ensure that animal welfare will be better and improved. I think this voluntary approach, I hoped it would have worked, but the reality, it didn't work.
But the normal procedure is something is said, something is being presented in writing, but nothing is implemented and there is no control.
Yes, and that's also why I firmly believe that the Commission should start infringement cases against member states who do not, for example, fulfill the pig directive, ensuring better conditions for the piglets in our farms in Europe. It's a responsibility, both the member states but also the Commission, to ensure that the laws we adopt here is something that farmers are following.